Okay, welcome along to Rabbit and Snail's Film Talk as we try to compile the 100 greatest films of all time. Certainly the 100 greatest films in our humble opinion. I'm delighted that the wonderful film historian, collector, film guru of every description, Mr. Mark Priest, is our guest today. Mark, welcome to Film Talk.
Thank you very much, Richard.
And what's the contribution to our greatest films of all time list?
Okay, so for this occasion, I've chosen one of the best superheroes for me personally. Going back to a child and watching this character on TV programs. Adam West played him on TV. And you've seen some other great actors playing him, but for me, Christian Bale as Batman.
Batman.
And in particular, out of the trilogy movies that he made, The Dark Knight is fantastic.
What an amazing choice.
It's a brilliant film, really exciting. Critics have said that it's probably the best action film that was ever made. Now,
really?
You might argue that one way or another, but certainly from my point of view, Batman was always my favourite, super being. Yeah. And I think that it fits it for me. It's a great film. It follows on from Batman Begins, where Christopher Nolan rebooted the whole sort of idea of Batman. And because Christian Bale got such great feedback from his initial role in that, he felt really comfortable in actually reprising it. And The Dark Knight is an excellent action film.
I mean, there's been quite a few Batman movies, and a lot of actors have taken the Batman character on. But Christian Bale stands out for you for what reasons? What's the
well, he's an intense, powerful actor. That and you've heard the stories about him, haven't you? That he can actually deliver a brilliant portrayal, and in Batman movies, he's fantastic. He's a super fit chap anyway. He's really great actor, and he gives it that intensity that I think the character really deserves.
Okay.
So yes, he really makes that, and for me, probably the best Batman of the lot.
Wow.
And on that point, probably the best Joker was in this movie. For me, the best Joker, Heath Ledger, fantastic in the movie. Terrible shame that he passed away just a few months after it was completed. But he was amazing. That character, that is fantastic.
I mean, as an actor, he had tremendous energy. I mean, you think of Brokeback Mountain and other performances. He really was on the up.
He really was on the trajectory to greatness. Again, there's stories of him being quite difficult to be with. Obviously, a very complex character in himself. But that's how he portrays himself in that character of the Joker. I feel right from the beginning of the film, you get the feeling that there's something very different going on here, because it's filmed in IMAX. This movie, a lot of it's filmed in IMAX. And you've got this opening scene, which is in a bank, and they're robbing the bank, and the Joker is part of the henchmen that are actually going to rob the bank, and he's eventually killing off all the other henchmen as they gradually do their part in sort of robbing the bank. So you end up with this Joker character, and it sets the scene now for an absolute maniac to be let loose on Gotham City, and thank goodness for Batman.
So what's the nub of the story? So obviously the Joker's there. He's got the bank robbery, but take us through.
Well, but most people know the background to Batman. He's lost his parents at a very young age, killed by the baddies. He becomes a vigilante effectively, and even though he's not recognised by the police as being sort of on their side, Gordon is the Commissioner Gordon, as he becomes, uses Batman to help them, round up the baddies. And in this particular film, the mob has, by a long way, is completely dominating Gotham City. Perhaps taking around about half the revenue of the city is going into the mob. Wow. So they've got to break the mob, and that's what Harvey Dent as the DA, Commissioner Gordon, and obviously Batman are interested in. But of course, you've got this character, the Joker, who wants to take half of that money, and he eventually meets up with the mob and says he will kill the Batman but he wants half the money. And of course, the mobsters are up in arms about it. But he's such a fearsome character that they've got no other choice really. And there's a great line in the film where the mobs say to the Joker, "Well, if you can kill the Batman, why don't you just kill him?" And he says, "Well, why should you do something for nothing when you're good at it?" So, fair play.
It's a fair point.
Absolutely. And it just carries on the manicness of this character. Anyway, one thing leads to another, and there's some great scenes throughout the movie. Christopher Nolan as director, got a lot of respect for him. He's terrific. And I particularly love the Batman movies, but I also like Prestige. I don't know if you recall that film. That was another great film of his. And he really knows how to tell a story. But he obviously likes to get good people around him. And so it's not just about him as director. The editing, the cinematography, the editing is got to be fantastic. The music, got Hans Zimmer. And James Newton Howard was also involved in the music because he did the first Batman Begins movie. So you've got the film just flies by when you're watching it because it's excitement, it's action. They introduced the Batpod for the first time, which is not really a motorbike. It's part of the Batmobile that breaks down into this sort of two-wheel vehicle, which is called the Batpod. And it's fantastic. The way you see it moving around the city, it's brilliant, brilliant stuff. Classic scenes in the movie. Harvey Dent as Batman, Bruce Wayne has organised sort of a charity deal for him. And they're having this great time at the top of this skyscraper. And all of a sudden the Joker turns up. Bruce Wayne nips off, comes back, turns up as Batman, and there's a fight between them. And it's really getting quite sort of aggressive. At this point, he then gets hold of Rachel, the Joker, which is obviously Batman's sort of girlfriend. And he's hanging her outside the window. And Batman says, "Let her go." And the Joker says, "Bad choice of words." And at that point, lets her go from the top of the skyscraper. And Batman has to fly out through the window, and of course he saves her. And it's a fantastic part of the movie. But it's just building and building the excitement. And then it moves on to the Joker being arrested, and he's taken into jail. But he's done this because actually he wants to trap the Batman. He wants to kill the Batman. And in the background of all this, he's then manages to get hold of Rachel again and Harvey Dent, and he's entrapped them in a couple of warehouses across the city. And he tells the Batman he's only got a certain amount of time to actually save them. But he's got a choice. Who does he save? Harvey or Rachel? It's a really gripping part of the film. And of course, Batman ends up going probably to the wrong place and saves Harvey Dent, but Rachel sadly dies because she gets blown up. And unfortunately, Harvey Dent gets covered in petrol as well. So he's been saved, but there's an explosion, and he loses half of his face. Oh my God. And he becomes the character Two-Face, which is infamous within Batman history. And it's a great scene of how Harvey Dent becomes this sort of schizophrenic character on the rampage to get justice for the death of Rachel, who he also loved very much indeed. Very exciting.
It sounds like they're setting up a lot of characters for a broader part of the franchise.
Yes.
Take out more opportunities, more films.
Absolutely. And there was another film after that as well. But for me, The Dark Knight stands out as being the epitome of the three films in total. And it's just pure excitement. And right at the end of the film, where Harvey Dent has actually kidnapped Gordon's family, and he's holding them to ransom, but he basically wants to kill them. It's an incredibly intense and moving part of the film. And you'd think it'd be about the Joker at the end of the film. Well, Batman's already caught him. But actually, this is about Harvey. And it's quite a sad and moving, but it's a very powerful part of the film. So if you've not seen it for a while, watch it again.
Sounds like a huge divergence from the original TV series. Most people will know and feel comfortable with the Adam West, which was very much a comical
Yes, very much so.
comic strip, I guess, in some ways, but it was done for laughs in lots of places.
Yes.
This is much darker, much grittier as a film.
Yes, it probably suits the sort of this millennium in many ways, because it is over the top characters. It was anyway, but it's particularly more so required nowadays that you've got big action, big storylines, fantastic music, and you need a sort of a Batman for the future.
21st century Batman.
Yeah, exactly.
And a big franchise too, not
Yes.
just big characters, big stories, but big franchise.
Oh, massive, absolutely massive, and it's done Christopher Nolan some great credit really, because it's really probably set him up as probably one of the best directors out there at the moment.
And he's got out to make, and following up, I mean, Christopher Nolan is a hell of a filmmaker. Interstellar,
Yes,
Dunkirk,
yes.
all, music with Hans Zimmer all the way through, so you can't go wrong with Hans Zimmer for music.
No, I think Hans Zimmer, his music is superb. There's a fantastic CD out and a video of playing live in Prague, and if you ever get a chance to see that or hear it, it's excellent, really good indeed.
Great package.
Perfect.
And a great addition to our top 100 list of the greatest films
I think
ever
so.
made.
Yes, yeah. Well, this is actually the Blu-ray version of it.
Oh, wow.
Dark Knight,
Great film.
fantastic film. Make sure if you play it at home, turn the volume up, turn the lights off, and get involved in it, because it's a very immersive film.
So there we are, Dark Knight, one of the great Batman films. Christian Bale, Heath Ledger, Mark's contribution, another contribution to our top 100 films of all time. Mark, thank you very much indeed. Greatly appreciated.
You're welcome.
Thank you.